Okay, by the end of this video, you are gonna have so much hope for the toy clutter situation that is happening in your house. So currently I have 5 children, ages 10 and down, and so I get the toy situation. I have been probably where you are, overwhelmed with toys, and I have some things to share with you that can help you get your home back, your sanity back, and just help you not be so frustrated when you walk into a kid's room or you walk into a living room and still give kids toys. Because I feel like, there is like one extreme, no toys, or there's this other extreme where it's like kids are completely autonomous and they can have as many toys as they want, and how dare we ever interfere with that? It's so wrong. It's my job as a developed brain human to create an environment for them that my kids want to be in. And so all to say, I have some tips for you as a mom of 5 with kids with their toys, and how to try to keep it more minimal, more manageable, and just reduce the toy clutter. Hey, my name is Lana. This is Girl Teach Me. This whole channel is for you. It's to help you if you feel overstimulated, overwhelmed, sleep deprived, to slowly transform into the mama and the woman that you've always dreamt of becoming, little by little, because it takes time. But there are things that we can do to move in the right direction, and that's what this channel is here for. So if that resonates with you, I hope you'll stay and hit subscribe. And I say this in almost all of my videos because I want you to know, in case you're pregnant and you need some help, I have a free birth workshop. It's not related to toys, but we're moms here and we might be pregnant. 5 things that can totally transform your whole birth experience. I wish I had known these things, but I've had 5 natural births with the help of the Lord, and I want to share these things with you because I want you to have a better birth experience. So if that's you, after this video, it's a little free class you can go take, and I hope it's a help to you. Okay, so let's talk about toy clutter. Let's talk about the toy overwhelm. One of the main things that I felt like happened to me was I got in this kind of cycle before I read The Joy of Less, before I took my friend Margaret's decluttering course and all the things, where I just was a really bad gatekeeper. So maybe you're not even the one bringing the toys in the home. Maybe it's an in-law, maybe it's a family member, maybe it's a good friend who just gives you all of her cast-offs. But I actually wasn't bringing in a lot of toys. The toy clutter was happening because things were being given to me at a rate faster than I could go through them, or I felt like because somebody gave it to me, it had to stay. So the first thing I would say is, we get to decide what takes up real estate in our home. Like, our home is such a precious place. Like, a wise woman builds her home, but a foolish one tears it down with her own hands. So we're wise to build our home, to build the beauty of our home, the environment of our home, the things in our home. If there's too many things, it changes the way our home feels. If there's clutter, it's like people get more work when they have a decluttered desk. Same principle when we work from home, and we, even if you work out of the home, you still do a ton of work at home to keep up your home. Like, my mom was a working mom. I know what that's like, mad respect there. But if we're home all day, then it can be a little triggering because there's no escape, right? There's no office to go to. There's no pretty desk to escape to. Like, our home is where we are all the time. So it makes sense that we want to get that back. So I just want us to all be empowered that there's nothing wrong with taking dominion over the things that are in our home, and just like we have the authority to have the final say. And I think there's this whole trend in our culture on social media where it's just like a lot of permissive parenting, where just because our kid wants it means that they should have it. And, I'm not saying taking away a kid's favorite toy. I am saying, like, if there are broken toys, things in the home that they don't play with anymore, we can get rid of the broken toys, and we can either rehome the toys that are not being played with, or we can put them away and then bring them out later. So currently, I have these toys right here in my living room. So I have these Melissa and Doug blocks. I have 2 sets of them. Typically, this one is in my toddler's room because sometimes I let her have room time and she plays with those, maybe with my older daughter. I have a little drum they beat on sometimes, and more blocks. I have some magnet tiles. Really sad, like half the magnet tiles when I wasn't looking got taken into the bathtub. Those are now bathtub magnet tiles until they leave our house. I love Magna-Tiles. I think the one danger with Magna-Tiles, if you don't know this, is you have to make sure you get a good brand, because sometimes the cheaper brands can bust open, and if a kid were to ever swallow a magnet, it's not good. So you just have to be a little bit careful with Magna-Tiles, and if you think a kid would do that, just if they're ever broken, you have to get rid of them, or if they ever look loose. Just a caveat. I love little Duplos, these big Legos. My big boys like little Legos, and I'll show you that later. That is a bit of a mess, but I'm actually really okay with it because they are so creative, and I think it's so good for their brain. So I'll show you that, but these Duplos have been great for my little girls. I have a 7-year-old girl, a 5-year-old girl, and an 18-month-old girl. Here's some train tracks. These are mainly left over from when my little boys loved train tracks, but actually my 4-year-old little girl likes train tracks time to time. These aren't out all the time. I actually rotate these in and out because they do get tired of them. They're not quite as open-ended. As a homeschool mom, the first homeschool curriculum I ever got into was the Peaceful Press preschool curriculum. I highly recommend that curriculum. I actually revisit the parent guide every year because what she talks about with toys, it was so educational and so helpful for me, and just like really setting up a home that kids feel creative in and they love to be in. So I learned a lot about toys from this. So, there's really like only one way you can play with trains, but actually not true. When I pair them with these blocks, they create whole cities and they kind of go together, or they'll lift up, a train track with some blocks and make it higher, things like that. So I feel like they pair good together. I don't really like Barbies. Just gonna be honest, I don't really like this. But my mother-in-law likes Barbies, and she got my daughter some Barbies, and they do like to play Barbies, and I liked to play Barbies when I was young. So this is something I have met in the middle on, and so I convinced my daughter, can we just put the Barbies here so all the little knickknacks are not always out? Because those are the things I typically find is the knickknacks, and so we put the knickknacks away today. We're gonna try that out, because sometimes they want to pull out a little Barbie, and then they might even put the blocks together to make like a little world. And so that's what I'm trying to create, is I'm trying to keep toys that they can get creative with. But I have to tell you, and I've heard this from so many moms, some of their best toys are not toys at all. For instance, my little toddler, she loves a calculator. They love calculators. They love punching on calculators like their cash registers, like their phones. So that's like an example of something that would not be in the toy section that kids absolutely love. Going to Goodwill and looking for old phones. Kids absolutely love that. They love to like get in their own creative worlds. But I feel like a lot of toys nowadays are very plasticky, and they're very like one use, and they might be overstimulating. I don't know if you feel this way, but like as a mom, sometimes I'm already overstimulated by all the voices and all the chaos and the things that are happening. Like having an overstimulating toy kind of can just take me over the edge. So I've really just tried to remove those. Again, like if a family member gets them an overstimulating toy, it might remain for a little while. But then when I notice that they're not interested in it anymore, maybe it goes in the closet and it totally disappears if they don't ask about it. And some parents think that's just cruel. But like I said, it's up to us to create and to take dominion over all the things. And there's just too much. I really feel like if kids have too many things, they don't really know what to play with, and they're absolutely overstimulated. Also, when a kid goes to clean up, if it's too many things to put away and you notice that they start crying, I think that's a sign there's too many things. Like having both of these blocks out at one time, if they were all out, it would make my 4-year-old cry. So that's why I put both of them, I put one away unless I'm reading like a morning time book. To them, like in homeschool, one thing I try to do is I sit on the couch and I'll read the Bible. We might do some Bible memory, but then I'll read like a chapter of a chapter book. So we had been reading through like Little House on the Prairie. And each kid kind of like goes and grabs their thing that they can kind of fiddle with and keep their hands busy. That would be a great example of when having both of those out, because one kid might take one in one way and use it another way. Another kid might take the other blocks and use them in a separate space in completely different ways, and then they would clean up that box of blocks, if that makes sense. And so it's nice just to have some things they can grab, but also I've found it so helpful to keep some things away in a closet that only I have access to, that I pull out. Because if the kids have access to all of it, like all the games, all the puzzles, all the things, it can just be so overwhelming. So I find keeping some things out that they have the autonomy to take out and put away, but then some things need to be kept up high in a homeschool closet that they can't pull out anytime they want because it's just too much. Hi. Do you have anything you want to say on toys? What are your favorite toys?
Fort.
What is it?
A fort.
A fort. So Sunny really likes to build forts. Do you like to build it with nuggets or chairs?
Nuggets and chairs.
Yeah, chairs, like, again, a nugget is a really, really fun thing to have. We've used a nugget in many, many ways, but also we just use chairs with blankets. Again, that's not technically a toy, but they have so much fun building like big forts together. What else do you like to dress up?
Dress up Halloween.
Dress up Halloween. So sometimes we take the outfits that they might use, like the princess thing they may have used for Halloween. And I don't love Halloween, but it's a good chance to go talk to our neighbors, right?
And we got candy.
Yeah, why don't you go get some of these dress up dresses and show what, like the dress up outfits. So my girls will put on their pretty dress up outfits. That was one tip somebody told me, is like after Halloween, go raid all the dress up stuff. And so when my boys were little, they had like all these superheroes and all these like occupations, and they would come out in a new outfit all the time. And it just gave me so much joy. Okay, yeah, but like dress up outfits. So we keep not all of them. I keep some put away. Oh, you want to show them the details? Okay, the details. Yeah, that's fun. But my friend said, yeah, just go after Halloween, get some of that dress up outfits, and those were better than a million toys. But I keep some stuff like that put away in case they have little girls that come over and they all want to dress up. I'm not going to keep out 8 dresses at one time, but when their little friends come, it is fun for their friends to all do dress up outfits. So that's been like a really good example of some things need to stay up in case they have buddies over, but is not like a cluttered toy. Those are not going to be all over their room. I just keep them in like a little basket in the corner, and if they want to dress up, they can. So the thing that really helps me is to keep a bag that is going to be donated and keep it in the closet. I prefer a black trash bag so that there's not a lot of questions later if I have to take something. And again, some of y'all might be really offended by that, but how else are we going to take control of the clutter? Actually, I will say that one thing that I did that has been very successful is I got a bin about this big, and when the toy situation was a little out of control about 2 years ago, I put a bin out, and then we went through the toys together, and then we had a trash bag with the things that were broken, so I could help them understand, like, oh, this is broken, like I think that maybe we should get rid of it, we can't play with it. Like, oh yeah, you're right. But in the bin was the things they could keep, and I was like, okay, everything that can fit in this bin is what you can keep, but everything else we need to give to another little boy or girl who goes to a thrift store. And I just try to find thrift stores, I don't always do this perfectly, that I really like believe in their mission, so I know the money's going to a great place. If I'm really in a pinch, I'll drop it off at the more local place. But all to say, that really worked well because they were putting stuff in the bin that they felt really passionate about and they got to do. But what I'm trying to say, if it's just that really annoying toy, it's getting underneath your skin, it's left out on the floor all the time, they don't really seem to care about it. It's just that, I don't know, your mother-in-law gave it to you and you feel bound to keep it forever. It's like, I mean, she probably didn't ask your permission to bring it in your home, and so why do we have to keep it forever? You know what I'm trying to say? It could be our own mom, not always our mother-in-law. Not trying to pick on mother-in-laws. Sometimes I think we feel like they're gonna come to our home and ask about it. And truthfully, it's like, it got broken. They weren't using it anymore. Or, it's in the attic. But we just can't keep, I don't want to be a slave to picking up stuff, to being a stuff manager. It just gets so old. I know you probably feel the same way. Another thing is I try not to keep a lot of stuff in their room. I actually really like, the way our house is set up is our rooms are pretty small. So I like having like a common area like this that the kids, we can all kind of be together. The reason for me personally is going in their room at night and seeing a lot of stuff on the floor is very triggering for me. I want their rooms to feel more peaceful so we can land the plane at night and we can kind of just have like a good bookend of the day, if that makes sense. And they've also shown like the way a kid's room, feels, it helps them like feel less anxiety, right? Like we don't feel good when our room is totally chaotic and there's a huge pile of laundry in the corner and it's just gross. It doesn't feel serene at night. And I think kids feel that vibe too. So I keep a very minimal stuff in their room. Like in their room, actually, they have some books that they can look at night. and sometimes I find the books all over the place, but that doesn't trigger me personally. Books are not such a big thing as like toys. Another thing is I would prefer to have some toys outside. I want my kids to be outside as much as possible. So like I invested in like a little sprinkler that goes around the top of the trampoline. Like they have a trampoline outside. At one point we had a mud kitchen made of plywood. It fell apart, but that was fun for a little while. They have a little play set outside. It's also kind of falling apart, but it's fine. I mean, they've got like a ninja course. And so at Christmas time, even though it's cold outside, I try to intentionally think about gifts or toys that can be used outside. And then we have like a big galvanized tub that people can use like as a watering trough or a cold plunge tub. And we put some things in there like roller blades. I got the kids roller hockey sticks so they could play that. They have a pickleball set. Scooters, bikes. Those are the kind of things that are going to encourage them to get outside and to enjoy outside. And then the toys are more like when we're sitting down and trying to be quiet. And so also like my son for a while was very into dinosaurs. And so he has a tub of dinosaurs downstairs that he bought, a lot of them with his own money. And they have like, you know, like a little Jeep and little characters that go with that. He's probably almost outgrown that, but all of that was in a tub, and that was at a very specific time, generally at quiet time, like in the afternoon, where he could go down and just like immerse himself in the world. He might take these wooden blocks and create like gates and things to kind of create like this Jurassic World. That was an example of how like it was so open-ended with like army men, and he would do that for a very, very long time and really like get immersed in a world. That's beautiful to me. I love that, but that stays downstairs where he would specifically do that. I mean, it's not perfect. Like if you came to my house, you would see some stuff on the floor. It would be a little bit chaotic. We still have some watercolors out. That's another thing. The number one thing I would say is take back control of your home. Take back on the decisions of your home. Like you do not have to be victim to all the things that are in your home. It's your home. This is your shot at building your home, creating the environment that you want to live in and you want your people to live in. We do not have to be held hostage by all the gifts that people have ever given to us because of some kind of like guilt we might feel about getting rid of it. Truly, 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 we cannot take any of this stuff with us where we're going. And it's just stuff. The most important thing in our home is the people that are in our home and how they feel in our home, and creating a culture that's peaceful and a culture of love. And I fail at that all the time. But what I'm trying to say is when we can feel good walking into a room, or we can put it back together in 10 minutes or less, it is so much more manageable to get our kids on board to help us. It's just like if we feel anxiety getting that room back together, of course a child's gonna feel anxiety getting it back together. And so whatever kind of guilt we feel getting rid of that thing, we just gotta cut it loose. We've got to have less attachment to stuff. Stuff is stuff, people are people. And how helping our kids feel better in their spaces, it's a true gift we can give. I mean, when I really got radical about this stuff, when I was tucking my daughter into bed, she's like, "Thank you for helping me with my room. Everything feels so much better." Like she could feel that on the inside of her body. And I know your kids are gonna feel that too, but they're gonna resist you because, they may feel some attachment to something that they really don't like and they don't play with. So I think that's why keeping it in a black trash bag for a time, and if it's not mentioned and it's not missed, why does it get to take up precious space in our home? Why? It just shouldn't. And if, that family member comes and they ask about it, it's like, oh, well, it's put up because it may be in the attic if you feel like they're really ever going to use it. But also it's like, it got broken. They were not using it. And like, if we have to have a hard conversation with love and truth, it's like, I can only manage so much. You're not here managing all this stuff. I am. And I have to take care of my sanity by only keeping what I can manage. And people may get mad, but you know what? We can't please everybody. Audience of one, audience of the Lord, and He knows that we're not taking stuff with us. And so it's a bit of a soapbox for me. I feel like the very, very last thing is if people do ask what we want, we should probably be clear about what we want, not be passive. Like, what do the kids want for Christmas? And it's like, this is such a nuance, like such a tricky thing because it can get into so many family dynamics, right? And it's like, well, what do I think the kids would enjoy? I think they would enjoy a zoo pass. I think they would enjoy a children's museum pass. I think they would enjoy experiences. But still, sometimes people want them to open up stuff because it's kind of about how they might feel, right? And so we just have to Okay, that's fine, but it may not get to stay forever. Like, you know, our home is not a dumping ground for other people with their cast-offs and with stuff that they may buy on a whim. And so, you know, stuff gets to stay for a little while, but ultimately, if it's triggering for me, if it's triggering for my kid, if it's too much, it has to go. And I don't know, that's the place I've had to get to. And I know that is a little bit salty, but I just had to get there. I had to kind of get mad about the situation, because until you really get mad about a situation, sometimes we're not really ready to change it. And so for a time, I just felt kind of passive about it. I'm like, okay, I can manage this. But then like I was struggling with motherhood anger and I wasn't very regulated. And it's like, okay, this stuff has to go. Everybody's gonna be doing better if mama's doing better. I just hope that I've removed some guilt and some shame about feeling okay, that it's okay to take back your home in the way you want to take it back, and to get rid of some stuff, and to just cut ties with how it makes other people feel who don't live in your home, because they don't have to be there to manage all the stuff you do. So a couple of videos that might be helpful for you. One, if you're getting started with homeschooling, I have a video about just things that you should know before you get started homeschooling. Another video that might be really, really helpful for you is the difference between self-confidence and self-respect. It kind of ties in with the mindset that I'm talking about here, but I think what we're really after is self-respect, and I kind of break down in that video why. So those videos might be interesting to you. And make sure, like, if you're pregnant, to go check out that free birth workshop. I know it will be a help to you. It's 5 key decisions that you need to make to have a better birth experience. And I'm sending so much love. I know I was a little salty in this video today. I think I'm just, if you can't feel it, I'm just really done with the clutter. And I really love being in a home that is not full of stuff, but is just full of the people I love. So you could probably feel that shine through today. Tell me down below, what has helped you take back your home? What has helped you with the toy clutter? What are you struggling with the toy clutter? If there's anything I didn't mention that is kind of a pain point for you on this, drop it down below. Maybe I can make a follow-up video for this as well. And I'll see you again in the next video.
It's so unnecessary dwelling about the past, 'cause I know that God is good, He led me to where I'm at. Sometimes I feel like giving up, you're giving in, but everything happens for a reason. It won't always be blue skies ahead. Sometimes you might need a helping hand, just like I am. Sharpens iron, making me stronger, calling me higher. When we come together, just like I am. Sharpens iron, making us stronger, calling us higher. When we're helping each other, we're growing together.